Ever since prisons were invented, it seems people have been trying to break out of them. Most prison breaks are planned and executed in secrecy, with guards just knowing of the breakout after the fact. But then there are these. Today you're going to see the top 10 prison escapes caught on camera. Number 1 is something else, so stick around to find out just what it is and tell us if you're willing to go through such lengths to escape prison. With all that said and done, let's begin, shall we? Number 10. A window of opportunity. Derrick Estell is the type of man that wouldn't let any opportunity pass by him. He is also a firm believer of the old adage, when a door closes, a window opens. So, back in 2013, when Estell found a window of opportunity, he jumped through it. Literally. It was literally a window. Officers were busy with a man who was just recently arrested. While the officer stepped away from the booking area window, Estell, with all the agility of a cat, jumped the counter and ran out the door. A woman, identified by police as Tamara Upshaw, was reportedly waiting in the parking lot for Estell with the passenger door to her car open. One officer slipped through the window as well, with the intent of capturing Estell, but he was far too late. He did make it to the car while it was pulling away, and he even tried to bust a window, but failed. Estell then went on to elude police for an entire month before he was cornered by the police in his girlfriend's house. Oh, did I mention that she was also his getaway driver? Hopefully they're still together, in prison. Number 9. Escape via helicopter. These escapees seem to have watched a lot of movies because their planned escape seems ripped right out of the script of one. However, unlike their movie counterparts where everything went smoothly like clockwork, their attempt was, well, kind of awkward to look at. Their escape started well enough. You can see the two escapees scaling the side of the prison with the use of a rope which was tied to a waiting helicopter parked at the roof. The thing is, our two daredevils were having a hard time climbing up, much to the frustration of their accomplices on the roof, who took the time to hijack a chopper and its pilot just for them to escape. In the end, they decided to just cling to the rope while the helicopter flies away, with the two of them dangling underneath. Funnily enough, though, prison authorities were 100% aware of what was going on. They just didn't do anything right away, even stating that it's only in the movies that you can shoot down a helicopter with a handgun. In any case, these flying bandits were caught just a few hours after escaping. Number 8. She just walked out of there. Most of us think that prison escapes are planned endeavors which require months, sometimes even years of careful planning that often involves one sort of convoluted process or another where everything needs to happen exactly as planned, or you risk utter failure. No one ever thought it would be as simple as walking out of 2 unlocked doors, however. And that's exactly what happened back in November 23, 2009, when Tori Smith just decided to walk out of prison. She had been arrested on charges of aggravated battery after a confrontation with her boyfriend and was at a temporary intake center waiting to be processed when she escaped. As you can see in the video, an officer entered the prison forgetting to lock the 2 doors behind him. Smith saw the open doors and just walked out. She ran outside and managed to get over the locked front gate. I'm pretty sure that the officer who left the door open was fired for this blunder. Smith didn't escape the long arms of the law for long though. She was recaptured only a few days later. Number 7. Another window of opportunity. Are you willing to risk everything, including breaking your own neck, just to escape from prison? Well, the next person on our list seems to be. This guy shown handcuffed in the video seemed not too thrilled about being arrested by the Rock County Sheriff's Office in Milwaukee. So, when an officer left him alone in an interrogation room, the 17-year-old immediately dove headlong, with his hands cuffed in front of him, according to the video of the incident, out a window. The only problem here is, the window is about 10 feet high from the ground, and all indications lead to an extremely rough landing. As if by some miracle, the teen was able to land safely and sprint away from the scene. Authorities only found out about the jailbreak when an officer finally checked up on the locked-up teen a full 12 minutes later. As daring as his escape was, he didn't exactly get that far. He was again arrested 3 hours later trying to hide out in a friend's house. Number 6. A walk in the park. Now, these guys made breaking out of jail look like a walk in the park, and who knew that the only thing you needed to open a locked door was a key? Surveillance video from inside the jail shows 31-year-old Aaron Clark, 24-year-old Ricky Sina, and 28-year-old Victor Apodaca walking down a hallway before one of the men appears to take out a set of keys and unlock a secured door, making a break for it. Another camera in the alley outside the jail also caught the trio, just casually walking away. Now you might be asking, where in the world did the three get the key to open the door? Well, it seems like they had an accomplice, which turns out to be one of the guards that was supposed to be keeping them in the prison. A camera in the control room spots jail guard Serena Dodson alone. She seems fidgety and nervous, and with good reason. She was the one who gave the trio the keys. The three were subsequently rearrested 5 days later, and charges were filed against the jail guard. Number 5. The Master of Disguise. Remember when I told you earlier about escape plans that are so convoluted that if one thing goes wrong, everything else fails? Well, this is an example of one of them. Inmate Clavino de Silva thought he had the perfect plan to escape from prison. Honestly, I don't blame the guy for trying to escape, as he was set to stay in jail for 73 years for drug trafficking. Anyway, his escape plan was nothing short of what the Mission Impossible guys would do. First, he had his daughter visit him in his cell, bringing him the things that he needed. An extra set of his 14-year-old daughter's clothes, a wig, and, get this, a one-off silicone mask made to look like his daughter. The plan was, pretty obviously, he would put on the disguise and walk out of prison as his own daughter. Sounds like a good plan, but I'm sure you also noticed the one fatal flaw. He would have to leave his daughter behind bars in his place. And of course, no matter how you disguise her, a 14-year-old girl would never pass off as a 42-year-old hardened criminal. Needless to say, he didn't get far. He wasn't even to get past the first line of guards. The clip you're seeing is him taking off the disguise in front of the guards. Number 4. Through the Ceiling. While some prison escapes are well-planned and well-thought-of endeavors, some just, well, for lack of a better term, wing it. Why some people think that a plan like these would be effective, I don't know. I guess there are some inmates out there that believe that the simplest plan to be the best. Case in point is 28-year-old Blaze Ayers, who was, at the time, detained at the Jackson County Sheriff's Office in Indiana. He decided he would make a break for it, but he had no place to go, so he decided to lock himself up in the medical room. It took a while for the officers to break in, but when they finally did, he was gone. Ayers had climbed up to the ceiling, hoping to find an exit without being detected by the officers. But of course he didn't account for all the noise he was making, so the officers knew exactly what he was doing and where he was. He also didn't account for something else. Ceilings aren't meant to support the weight of a fully grown man. Eventually, he crashed down to the floor in front of the waiting officers armed with tasers, but not before getting entangled in electrical wiring. Number 3. Escape via bulldozer. Inmates in a Denmark prison love football. They love it so much that when a much-anticipated game was happening in a stadium that just so happened to be near the prison, they just had to try anything to escape, just to watch the game. Cue the bulldozer. Although nobody really knows who drove the bulldozer to break down the prison walls, it basically did its job. This allowed about a dozen inmates to escape in order to watch the game. The mastermind of the whole thing wasn't caught as well. It's a good thing that news crews around the stadium because they saw the bulldozer and immediately ran towards the prison to check out what was happening, thus gifting us with this crazy footage that we're seeing today. Now it's time for the day's best pick. And for today's best pick, we have a prison break that you would have to see to believe. It's nothing short of a scene ripped right out of the pages of a comic book. Number 2. A fantastic escape. We've seen some pretty daring escapes on this list, but this one borders the realm of the impossible. So much so that if it weren't captured on video, you wouldn't have believed it even remotely possible. A slender Russian inmate identified as Rustam S., 25, has been caught on surveillance footage breaking out of his jail cell at a detention facility in the town of Izberbash in the Republic of Dagestan in southwest Russia. Reminiscent of the Fantastic Four's Mr. Fantastic, Rustam can be seen squeezing through the slot in his door, which is usually used to give food to inmates. He is completely naked as he is seen struggling to push his lower half of his body out of the slot through most of the video. He manages to push himself out quickly, putting on his underpants and the rest of his clothes. It has been unreported if Rustam was recaptured or if he even made it completely out of the facility, but we have this amazing footage depicting his snake-like escape to remember him by. Before we move on, I've got a little challenge for you that'll take 5 seconds to complete. So here's the deal. You just leave a like on this video, smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell, and you will get 25 years of amazing luck. Try it, it really works. Number 1. A smelly predicament. If I were to be sent to prison, especially if I'm looking forward to being there for a long time, I'll be the first to admit that trying to escape will definitely cross my mind. But if you present me with a plan as smelly as this one, I'd rather be locked up in jail for life rather than trying to go through with it. You'll know why in a bit. In this video, a Brazilian prisoner has supposedly tried to break out of jail by going headfirst down a communal toilet. The man's gross escape was caught on camera in a video which shows him covered in poo from head to toe. This man clearly got inspiration from Andy Dufresne's famous scene in The Shawshank Redemption, where a memorable scene shows him bursting free from a sewage pipe. This attempt was less successful than the films, however, as two men are seen grabbing the almost fugitive and pulling him out. A little bit later, the man can be seen back in his cell, still covered with communal poo. Did we leave any daring prison breakouts? Let us know in the comment section down below. Want to watch more amazing videos? Click on any of the videos you see on your screen. As always, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Later, everybody.